welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So today we are going to review a movie that's really we just previously watched, and I thought maybe we might review that, seeing as we're in October, and it's a good time to gross up on our horror movies by watching a few.
Blood. I like blood.
Yeah, and this one has a gushel full of it.
Yeah, lots of a gushel full of it.
If
Lots
it's a
of
word.
it. No.
This one's called Cabin Fever, which was released in 2002.
It's a horror comedy. Mm-hmm. Not very funny. A little bit funny. It's got some,
More horror, but with that.
It's better. The
than
horror
comedy.
content's better than the comedy content. So it's good. I like it that way. A little bit of comedy. If they make it too funny, I lose interest. Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah, and of course, this is a debut for the director himself in this movie.
Eli Roth. Yeah.
Yes. You may have heard him in a number of movie projects that we may even check out one of these
Possibly
days.
later on, yes.
And this sort of had made headway for a bit of a few sequels and a remake along the way.
Yeah, I think there's 4 movies in this franchise, Cabin Fever. The last one was done in, I think, 2016.
Yeah,
if my memory
that
serves
was
me correctly.
shot-by-shot similar remake.
Yeah, it's that remake.
Meaning they copied everything except a few teeny-weeny
A couple of small
changes
Yeah,
along the way. But aside from that, still pretty much
the same story.
Same story with a few dialogue changes along the way.
Okay, here we go. Well, my usual stuff. Mm-hmm. Produced by Lauren Moes. Moews, I think that's the right pronunciation. Sam Frolick, Evan Ostrowski, and Eli Roth. So they produced it. Directed by Eli Roth.
Uh-huh.
Story by
Eli Roth.
Written by, drumroll,
Eli Roth.
and Randy Pilstein. So now, Eli, I was going to say it later, but he had trouble getting production companies interested in backing him.
Hear that, folks?
He went from place to place to place to place to place to place.
Place to place.
And he finally got it. So which was
Yeah,
good.
it's annoying
Yeah.
when such companies it becomes too high and mighty when
they thought these sort of movies were on the way out at that period of time. And I think another movie came out just recently. Was it Scream? Or something? No, I'll check my notes later. Another movie came out just before he made this one. And they thought, look, that made money. We might make money out of Cabin Fever, so then it stimulated some interest.
Yeah, I mean, unlike other cabin-related movies we reviewed, this one doesn't dabble with a slasher killer or a monster in the woods or a supernatural being chasing our heroes. In this one, it's a natural... we
don't know it's natural. We don't know. It's some sort of virus.
Yeah, epidemic
Type thing. I mean, really bad. It's a flesh-eating one, really, really good, and it works fast. Obviously, it's a short movie, so you have to work very fast, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, here we go. Budget. Now, this is what I like. What you can do on a skinny budget, guys. $1.5 million was the budget. Mm-hmm. Box office, 30.6. Now, it's not a big box office, but the budget was little. And that's what a lot of these people need to figure out when they do these sort of things. You throw too much money at it and you don't get a big box office, you're out of pocket.
You know what I really like about this, Mike?
What's that, Sarah?
Well, aside from it's budget and all that stuff, it takes place in just the woods and near the cabin, and what better way to film a movie in such a location like this, where you have to travel into different areas, or maybe probably not too many areas, but you manage to
the majority of the film was done around the cabin.
Yeah.
And in the bush surrounding the cabin.
Yeah.
That was it. It really would save a lot of money on site rentals, transport,
and just think,
setups,
if it's just if it was a cabin like a friend's cabin, you can have longer lasting time filming there if you want.
Well, you rent it like it's a holiday cabin. In actually, I'll mention where it is later. when I go through it, it's a real cabin on a real place where you can really hire it. So they've hired it for whatever, a couple of weeks, month, 2 months, whatever it's going to be for the film shoot. Went right, go in there, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And, and it worked.
Yeah, I've also wanted to find out if people still rent out cabins to holiday makers.
They would.
And there are a few out there.
Yeah, but you got to find them.
You just have to find them, obviously.
Yeah, no,
and see that they're not just
there's
for...
no slasher killers and stuff,
No, I mean, I was going to say, as long as it's not you're going to have to buy it or rent it from us, type of deal. It's not...
Well, it's a rental.
It's just a simple holiday time. Yeah. And then at the end of the trip, you're done and you can hand it over to the original owner and you're done with it.
Yeah, but you still rent it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know. I've never been in a holiday cabin, so I don't know.
You still have to rent it.
Because most of our trips consist of going to hotels and stuff.
No, we don't actually. We stay in motels now. I'm not motels. I used to stay in motels and I travelled a lot, but sometimes staying in a box is really... so I stay in apartments now.
Yeah, so
it's a bit more expense, but more space. You got a kitchen and stuff.
So we often get those the apartments that Mike says.
It's a bit more expensive, but it's more comfortable.
Yeah, so let's dive into characters.
Wait a minute. Characters. Here we go. Characters. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's really... The bug didn't get any credits.
Oh, brother.
What?
Well, it's not actually a bug. It was a virus.
Well, we don't know exactly what it was. Okay.
Yeah. I like to think the third movie may have given away... It might have been a prequel.
We have no
and
idea.
it would explain how it's got spread.
I reckon, just read it ugly. I reckon there was a government bio lab there working on some sort of biochemical warfare thingy, and they made a virus... And an infected animal got out, and
the animal died.
The animal got out, and before it died, the story goes on. A dog got to it, which will show at the beginning of the story, and he got infected by this animal that he killed and ate some thereof, and that's what started it. I reckon so, but there's no backstory on where it came from. Anyway, here we go. The people. Okay. Ryder Strong plays Paul. Hey, what a good name. Jordan Ladd plays Karen. James DeBello plays Bert. Serena Vincent plays Marcy. Joey Kem plays Jeff. I'll skip the hermit. Giuseppe Andrews plays Deputy Winston.
Yeah.
And I mentioned about one more person, Eli Roth. Plays Justin Grimm. He's 2 names.
Yeah, so I guess he stars briefly in this movie. He doesn't make a very big appearance.
Well, it saves paying an extra person on the payroll, doesn't it?
Yeah, true.
Maybe the person didn't show up for the shoot.
Yeah, the usual stuff that's in this cabin movie is often a bit of a given, or tries to pad it out. Like, they even do a ghost story thing, which I didn't have any links themes to it.
People would sit around. They had a campfire sort of thing. They'll tell spooky stories. Mm-hmm. It didn't link in with the story theme of the movie, but hey, who cares? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But then, about 20 minutes of the movie, all hell started to break loose. So that's good. Yeah. 20, 25 minutes. That's a good an intro to get things. Everyone's happy and smiley, and then everything turns to crap. Yeah.
Like in the credits in the opening, you see a bunch of clean screen, but then it starts getting bloodier, redder, and indicating the virus spreading really quickly.
Actually, here's something I didn't notice. What's it look like here?
Skeleton. The poster is referring to.
The poster and the cover on the DVD, or VHS as well. It's got... It looks like a moon, a big red moon, and some trees, and it looks like a skull. It's quite nice, actually.
Well, actually, I think it's all 3 trees.
No, it's all rounded off.
Oh, yeah, the way it's formed. It's a moon, but of course...
It could be a big red moon, but it's got 3 trees in front of it, making it look like a skull.
I should mention, guys, that we do, in this movie, it does go for a red filter in some scenes.
Yeah, I like filtered light, like reds and blues and stuff, too. And like some of the European shows, like Dario Argento does some, and other people, they use stark lighting colours to illuminate areas and to create an atmosphere. And it works. It works. Yeah.
Sort of to emulate blood, gore,
or feeling of danger, or mystery, or sex,
but in
or
this
whatever
case,
it's going to be.
I think the blood and gore comes to mind when I think about Cabin the Fever.
Anyway, do you want to start telling the story before these people go to bed?
Sure.
Okay.
The hermit, his name's Henry, I should mention.
Henry the Hermit. What a great name.
He's wandering through the woods. He actually picks up a rabbit, and he plans on giving it to his dog. His dog is, as it turns out, dead.
He thinks the dog was just lying down having a rest, but it's
not breathing.
It actually is great. He tried to get his dog's attention. He bends down there and grabs his leg to move him, and his leg comes off. That was so brilliant. It looked so good.
Anyway, we then cross over to the teens we're going to be following throughout this movie. All through the movie, obviously. And you get it's the usual stereotypes. You have the horny couple. You have the virgin. You also have the stoner who's a smoker and a drinker
and a dickhead
and a bit of an idiot. And you just have the other guy who wants to get it in on the girl. Obviously, they have the virgin girl. Anyway, they soon arrive at a sort of what do they call it? What do you call it, Mike? The store?
General store.
Yeah, general store.
Garage or something or other.
Yeah, the general store.
Stuff you get out
there. They kind of come in contact with a boy on the swing who actually bites one of the men, obviously.
Yeah, and nice. He could have been hungry.
True. He then gets recommended by his father, I think his father. Reprimanded.
Yeah. And, naughty little boy.
And he goes on to say he doesn't like the holiday people for gosh knows reasons. I think he's
they
trying
don't taste nice.
No. Well, the guy doesn't think so. Anyway, he does tell him to go out back to wash his hands, not bothering to actually get him inside to actually wash his hands by a sink.
No, actually, that's quite. I think he went to it and he turned around and came back out because it could have been filthy. So he went to a little stream.
Yeah.
Behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been those garage and truck stops and stuff where the last time the cleaner was in there was last year.
So anyway, they then stock up their car. The beers. The chips, the usual stuff you do when you go to general stores every so often. So, anyway, they head off to the cabin, and of course they get lost a little bit on the way.
They didn't get lost. They thought they were off the map. Yeah, but they said, no, it was really, 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 really off the grid,
Yeah, well, it is off the grid, technically. Anyway, they soon get to the cabin. It's a beautiful cabin.
Actually, it's not bad, actually. It's a bit like, the one we did in Cabin in the Woods. A bit like that.
A little bit more, but more...
Nice and neat.
Nice and neat.
Yeah.
And not like...
log cabin type thing.
Unlike Cabin in the Woods and Evil Dead, this one looks a bit more presentable. A bit more nicer than just an average.
The Woods wasn't bad.
Well, I just meant like
I thought it was nice.
It would have been not my first choice of holidaying up in the woods.
Well, yeah, so we get rid of all the zombies out of it and other creepy crawly guys. Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, the same I could say for Cabin in the Woods, because that place looked very, dark and weird and creepy.
Well, it was creating an atmosphere.
It was creating an atmosphere.
Yes, okay.
Anyway, moving along. So they settle in, a couple get their sexy time together, while the other characters, like the what's his name, the guy who's a bit of goes out hunting with the rifle.
I think it's Bert.
Okay, Bert goes...
Bert, yeah.
Bert goes off with the rifle and...
I'm going to shoot some squirrels with a gun in a rifle in one hand and a beer in the other. Yeah,
it's really idiotic. And while other couple wander the woods and go for a not skinny dip, they just go for a swim.
They're going to go for a swim.
Anyway, Bert... while he's shooting, he actually puts a fire. He sets a fire, but it's not really a really good fire.
He set the fire around the fire pit on the outside.
What an idiot!
Which would possibly start a grass fire or a leaf fire and burn the whole area down. But he's a dickhead. You know.
He's a freak, moron.
And but the people come out later and put the fire out and kill him a dickhead anyway. So not just me.
Anyway, he then hears a scuffle, and we see he actually shoots the hermit, Henry.
Accidentally, didn't see him pop up. And
things say he was probably a squirrel.
He thought it was a squirrel. There's a dirty, great big squirrel, wearing clothes.
The man says that he's not feeling well and he needs help.
Because Henry, his dog, the guy I mentioned before, he's got the disease. It's moving very quickly.
Yeah. Of course, Bert heads back to the others, and there he sees his friends putting out the fire he made, obviously.
Yeah, they can't do good.
Do you want to tell it, moron?
But he doesn't tell me anything about Henry, the guy he wounded.
Yeah. They then later that night, as they're sitting around the campfire with the marshmallows and whatnot, they are talking. They're telling scary stories that have no meaning in this movie.
No, there's no link. Yeah.
No link. Unlike other movies that often do the cabin in the wood type stuff, there's always a link to this type of thing. But in this case, not.
Hillbilly killers and stuff with machetes. No, none of that sort of stuff. No.
None of those.
No.
Anyway, soon enough, they kind of hear a person approaching.
Russell.
And it turns out to be
a guy called Grimm.
Who is
Eli.
Eli,
Can you say Eli?
Eli Roth, who just happens to be strolling through the woods with
his puppy dog, Dr. Mambo. Well, the dog's probably got a PhD or something or other,
Yeah. There he sits for a bit and tells about how he's got this nice marijuana stuff set aside.
They're trying to send him away. He said, I'll have to suggest marijuana or somebody else. And he had a dirty, great plastic bag full of grass with him. So he said, you might as well stay here then. You know what it's like. Mm-hmm. Bit of green goes a long way.
Oh, yes. I thought that was the money side.
No, the other green goes good.
Okay. So, anyway, he does take his leave, and then the people start settling inside the cabin, because it's starting to rain.
So it's starting to rain a bit, so everyone runs inside. And
Anyway, so as they're setting up, waiting for the guy to come back to get his... I think he didn't bring the marijuana with him, I'm not sure. But I think he was going to come back and bring it so they can,
He didn't come back because they'd heard a knock on the door and it was a sick guy.
It was the hermit. He returned. He's a lot more
sicker
grosser.
And bloodier.
He begs...
You like the Mask of the Red Death, a good movie, Vincent Price.
He begs the kids to let him in and take him to a hospital. But Bert kind of closes the door on him, thinking that they'll catch it from him.
Yeah, and then this guy they open the door and let him in, and he starts vomiting and spraying blood out all over the place, out of his mouth and coughing.
Well, he doesn't do that. He goes into their car and steals their car.
That's right, yeah.
And then he starts puking
He went
up
to the car and started doing it.
Yeah, he's doing that.
He started to explode.
The others quickly grab any weapons, anything on hand to try to scare him away, which I think is a big mistake, because as they kind of break the windscreen, break the windows.
They're trying to get him out of the car, but you're trashing the car, and then Bert's got the gun, and he's shooting at the car, not the guy in the car.
Yeah, I heard a hissing noise which indicates he may have shot the wheels.
Oh, the tyre or the radiator or something or other. They had to fix the car up.
Yeah, what an idiot. You take out a gun, and you're bad at shots.
Waiting to happen.
Anyway, he then gets out of the car, and they kind of dose him with the pet gasoline.
Well, we think it was gasoline, but it was an accelerant or something, yeah.
And then they accidentally set him on fire, and the guy runs off into the woods. And the girls and the rest, some of the members, except for Bert, he doesn't think they've done anything wrong. They just feel guilty that they just hurt the man.
Yeah, poor man.
Anyway,
all those poor little viruses, guys, little bugs.
Later that night, as they're settling in, some of them can't sleep because of what they did, and they decide the next morning to quickly head off and maybe call the police or go to a phone booth to tell what they did.
There's no phone booth in the area, and the mobile phones are way out of the range, so they can't do anything, and the car's broken.
Yeah. One of the girls heads off down the path to find help, obviously, while the guys are fixing up and cleaning up the car. Because it's covered in blood. There's lots of blood stains all over the front and inside the car, obviously. Because the guy was coughing up blood, like by a gushel.
What?
Well, by a ton. Or by a ton.
Lots.
By lots.
Like a sprinkler. How's that?
Exactly. Like he's throwing up.
Like a fire hose, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, He then, let me see what happens. Oh, yeah. I should mention we find out that Henry, the hermit, he's dead and he's lying inside in the lake, but this is the water that goes directly to the supply.
I think there's a weir. And he's laying in the water near the weir, and there's a pipe just near there, which we believe feeds to the township or to a factory or something or other. It's like a 4-inch pipe, it's a big one, like a sewer pipe, and so it's taking water out of there. So it's not just for the locals, one building, it's obviously servicing a factory or something, which could be the reason why we saw something at the end of the film, which we won't talk about at the moment.
Anyway, eventually, I think a deputy officer.
Deputy Winston.
Deputy Winston arrives there, and he's wants to investigate a disturbance.
Yeah, he's a young guy who's a bit of a party animal and an idiot and stuff, and he's more into doing some weed and having a few drinks than actually doing his job. So
he also mentions about a loud party taking place with some underage drinkers, whatever's.
Yeah, later on, and he couldn't find him when he's sitting there having a drink with them. So really good.
Anyway, he tells them about the hermit, and the guy says about their broken truck, and hopefully they'll get a tow truck.
I'll get a tow truck for you.
Yeah, and we don't see it happen.
Never see it. No, it never comes. Yeah.
Anyway, he then makes his leave, and he acts very suggestive leaves to the guy, saying, "You're the man with the whole,
Yeah, he's sucking up to him. Hey, man, you're really cool, man. Yeah. He's a really weird deputy.
His dialogue is very funny.
No, Sarah initially thought, he's not really a sheriff or a deputy or anything. He's just dressed up a little bit.
Technically, he's on an ordinary bike.
Would you trust him with a police car?
Well, true.
No,
but I just meant he comes on a little small ordinary bicycle, not a motorcycle, not a car. It's a little unusual because wouldn't he be riding in a police car or seeing as he's from the sheriff's department, they would have those types of cars and no doubt.
But he's only a deputy. He's one of your junior deputies. He's your push bike going for a ride through the bush.
Yeah. It sounds just like those comfortables you see in those old English movies where you see them riding on a little bit of a bicycle in the old days.
But if it's a bushy area of no major roads, maybe a bicycle might be easy to get through the trees and stuff.
True.
You ever thought of that?
True.
Anyway, horse would have been better, maybe.
The two other men, they go to hope to find someone with a telephone. Of course, they come across a lady who is a butcher who remarks that about the meat is spoiled or not spoiled; it's rotting out. Realizing that she's actually paid a great deal for the pig that she has. Now she's going to waste money.
And when you think in retrospect, maybe that pig had the virus. That's why it was rotting.
But she says it was happening to all her livestock.
Yeah, I know, she said that.
Which indicates more than one animal is dying.
Yeah, all the meat's going off, which means the virus is actually in the meat already. So we don't know how or where, but it's there.
Yeah. Anyway, she invites them in, and as she's talking, they talk about a hermit they met in the woods, and she remarked, "Is it Henry? Because he's my cousin." Yeah. And we realize, we just may have killed him, and they decide to take their leave and get out of there. They come to another house, of course, and this is where we get the Chainsaw Massacre shot of sort of a butt shot that was similar to the Chainsaw Massacre thing, where you see the girl walking from the woods to the house, and just angled at her midsection, and we're following her.
I call it a butt shot.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a famous shot that's been used regularly on some of the
you do a low butt shot or legs in the bum, and
movies. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, walking up to a house and from that angle, it's not bad. It looks good.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, soon enough she comes across them, and there's no one there. It's deserted, or who knows what's happening there. Anyway, they head back to the cabin, and while they're there, the car still in need of maintenance, seriously. And then later on that night, as they're settling in again, the guy I mentioned who tries to get frisky with our virgin girl, and while he's trying to get handsy, he notices blood on her thigh, not like inside her thigh.
They're laying on the bed with a blanket over, and his hands down, and he puts his hand up from under the covers, and it's covered in blood. And we think, ooh, heavy flow. No.
It turns out there is these huge big gashes or marks on a wound. And everyone freaks out, and they start thinking, maybe we should quarantine her in the shed.
That's a bit rude, isn't it?
They start wondering whether that if they go near her, they're known to catch it.
Well, it's a possibility.
There's a possibility of that. There's a chance that maybe it could be transmitted through, getting her throwing up blood on you. Maybe there's a chance of that. Anyway, they set up put her inside the shed and sort
give
of
her a blanket
and a mattress. Yeah. She's annoyed, which at this point because
gee, thanks guys, you're so kind. Yeah, attitude. Oh, so ungrateful. They could have sent her out there without the mattress and the blanket.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Some people. Well, there you go.
Yes, of course, her and her sort of boyfriend, I'm not sure, because to be honest, everything seems to be falling apart because they all seem to lose their minds or start ganging up on each other for no good reason. Bert, especially, who thinks that she's a danger to the group and should be, kept away. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they do eventually give her some food, and we also heard that there's a dog in the woods. I think it's either the guy that was offering them weed earlier, or maybe not really. I think it was either a wild dog or something who's sniffing out meat. I think it was probably...
No, I don't think it was his dog. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Just another dog, yeah. Look, it could smell the blood.
And meat.
And it could have been a wild dog, too. Yeah.
Anyway, they kind of scare it off, and they decide to do a night watch with her outside the cabin. Outside the shed. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. Well, we're in a cabin. Yeah.
So while the others rest and stuff like that, they let me see. They get the car started eventually, and of course, as they're loading her into their car so they can take her to a hospital, she starts coughing up blood really badly, and they're told to leave the car. And the guy, Bert, he takes his leave into the woods with the truck.
He drives off.
And I think
I'm getting out of here. You guys. Yeah.
And which one was it?
Friend.
So which one was the blonde guy? I don't remember.
That's Jeff. He grabs the remaining beer and walks off. Yeah, so I'm not staying here and getting sick. He's one of those germophobic guys.
Yeah. You could tell he's got his hand over his mouth, which could indicate he might be slowly getting it.
No, he doesn't want to get it. So he got this thing a cloth over his mouth. I don't want to breathe these bugs. I'm leaving here. So he grabbed a couple of 6 packs of beer and walked off into the night or the day or whatever. Yeah.
Day, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, we're left with our two. Let me see. We have Beth's gone, Jeff's gone. Paul remains. Obviously, he's the guy I mentioned, and he's left with Karen and Marcy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Marcy.
Yeah, and him and the other girl, they get it on because she doesn't.
So we're going to be dying, and we might as well have sex before we die. Hey, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Great reason. I got no problem with that.
Anyway, while he's doing it with her, he then, as they're doing it, you could see on her back, her skin is starting to turn red after he grabs her.
He dragged his hand across her back, not like she's scratching it, but had left little red marks, like little bit like welts, but not quite as bad as that. But and a bit later on,
she then goes into the tub to wash herself. I think she did it more. She does this more than once, I think.
And we think that made it worse because the virus was now in the water as well, we believe.
Yeah.
And she was sucking up the virus through her skin, as well as breathing the virus in or ingesting it through sprayed blood and stuff. So it's getting all over the place.
Paul goes into the woods to try to find the hermit that caused all this. And he finds out that he's dead, and he notices that he's lying in the lake. And as he's turned the body over, you could see that his whole face has been eaten away.
Yep.
Ew. And he falls in after, and he notices that how this water is connected to the possible town's water supply, if that's the word. So you know what that means, folks.
Oh, wait, let's back off. Marcy was in the bathtub a bit before this. Yeah, and she's having a wash, and she's shaving her legs, and the skin starts coming away.
Oh, this part really gross.
And then she gets panicky and runs outside, and that wild dog comes back and rips her apart. Yeah. And it was Dr. Mambo. Just dawned on me it was the same dog.
Sorry.
Yeah,
it was dark, guys. I couldn't help it.
He's hungry.
Anyway, he kills both girls. The girl Marcy, obviously, and Karen, who was that I guess he broke into.
He broke through the door, and he had a nibble on her after pulling Marcy apart. Yeah.
Anyway, so
we're running out of people.
Bert is back at the general store again, and where he gets tackled and bitten by that stupid kid again, calling him pancake, whatever that means. I don't know what his problem is.
Kid's mentally retarded.
And he bites him and ends up not realizing that he's been infected. And this causes his dad to hunt Bert down with his mates.
Well, to his mates. And so Bert drives back in the direction of the cabin.
Yeah, and the car breaks down again, and he has to make his way through the woods, trying to lose them as much as possible.
And guess what? He's being followed.
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah. While this is happening, Paul gets back to the cabin, and he finds the dead remains of Karen and Marcy, and the dog. Obviously, I'm not sure. Did he shoot it?
Yeah, he shot the dog.
Yeah, and then he goes off to find Jeff, obviously. Oh wait, he goes and tries to find Jeff, and of course he decides to go and try to find help. Of course, a couple of people shut him down, or even a married couple who just happen to be having a moment to themselves, told by the husband to back off, and thinking he's a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
No surprise there, because he was peeking on his wife, goodness sakes.
Oh, no, he came outside, has to see who was in there.
He goes on to explain that he's sick and unwell.
And the guy doesn't give a crap, he says, bugger off. He points a gun at him or something, or others, clear out.
Yeah, I should have mentioned this earlier here when he said his girlfriend was sick too. Duh, stupid me. Anyway, Bert arrives back at the cabin where Paul's still at, and he is pulled inside because the hillbillies are on his trail, and they're about to enter the cabin, and then Bert tries to shoot them, but he gets shot first, and then Paul sort of kills all three hillbillies, and takes one into the basement. And
he throws one in the basement. He was wounded.
Yeah, and telling them what's happening, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's not their fault. They're sick. I mean,
He goes off into the woods trying to find Jeff. Of course, he doesn't. I don't think he finds him.
No one knows where Jeff is. Calling out for him.
Yeah. He also discovers some other people that have probably died. Probably from the water. I don't know, and. Then he runs into Winston with his...
Paul looks, instead finds... The corpse in the cave was Grim.
Oh, yeah, Grim.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. I thought...
We didn't get a good look at him.
Yeah, we didn't get a good look at him. So, anyway, Paul runs into Winston, who is partying with some young high schoolers, and there he tells him, why didn't you bring the tow truck? And stuff like that. And he's like, I forgot.
Yeah, the tow truck broke down. I had to get another tow truck for the tow truck. Then I plumb forgot about it. Yeah,
of course, he tells him that I need to go to the hospital. I'm sick. And then Winston gets a call from his chief, the guy in charge, telling him that there's an illness in the area, and these high schoolers may have spread it.
And Winston's been ordered by his superiors to kill any infected people on site.
Yeah. Meaning, in other words, they're trying to cover it up, technically. Anyway, then Paul quickly attacks him and starts attacking. Well, he doesn't attack the other kids. They kind of plan on shooting.
They run away,
shoot him.
And he picks up a stick or a rock or something or other, and tries to kill Winston. But he eventually knocks him out. Yeah.
He then quickly gets away, and while this is happening, as he's running, he tries to wave down hail down a car or two, but some of them continue driving.
And so he passes out.
He then passes out, expecting to die from being crushed by a big truck.
A truck comes down the road. You're going to get run over here, but the truck driver stops and takes him to the hospital. What a nice truck driver.
Yeah. Then he's at the hospital. There, he's questioned by the chief, who asks him,
police chief, whatever.
Police chief or whatever. He asks him how did the disease happen, and of course he's mumbling.
He's delirious by now.
Yeah, he doesn't tell them about the water and stuff like that, and they leave and plan on going back to the cabin to see if they could clear away any leftover infection. Yeah. Jeff arrives back at the cabin and he yells out, I've survived, I won. Soon enough, the sheriff and his other deputies arrive, shoot him, and then they build a fire. And
throw all the bodies into it.
This makes me think of a scene from Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, where they got all the dead zombies. Well, when it's dead zombies, zombies are dead. You got zombie bodies and threw them in the fire to get rid of the disease.
Yeah. They killed the man that was in the basement that was still alive.
He couldn't even pass a message on.
And then, let me see. They set the fire onto the cabin. I guess to expect that they'll probably destroy whatever virus.
I hope that guy's cabin was insured. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, fire.
They think it's all over, but then we see a bunch of children taking some water and planning on
little boy and a girl. Go do a lemonade stand. Used to.
Yeah.
And one of those big plastic containers. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, getting some water out of the creek or the lake or whatever.
Yeah.
And just about 20 metres from them, just around the corner there, is this dead body laying there, leaching blood into the water supply. Yeah. You can see where this is going, can't you, folks?
Yeah. The kids are back at the general store, and they're making lemonade, selling it to the sheriff and his deputies.
And they had some.
And then more customers start arriving.
And then a band comes there, like a little country hillbilly type band, and start playing music. Like a little bit of a function going on there, and everyone's drinking the lemonade.
Home, whatever song. Anyway, more and more customers start arriving, which could indicate there could be tourists, and this might spread the epidemic more further. And then as the credits roll, we then cross over. We then do a post-credit scene where we see a spring water.
We see a guy walk back to the truck. We don't see this. It's a big truck. And then as he pulls off, the sign comes in to view, and is
spring homemade spring water.
Hometown or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Hometown spring water. And obviously they've been pumping water out of the lake, and it's been put into bottles. Hometown bottled water, I think it had on it. Which means all these bottled waters have been made up in a local factory, which are pumping water out of the lake where the virus is.
Yep.
And it's going to spread it to all and sundry.
Yep. And then we fade out.
Totally.
And then we do have a sequel and a third movie.
And then a remake.
And then a remake,
in 2016. So,
of course, the remake is dead on similar.
Wouldn't mind watching that and compare it, We might not review it, but just for Sarah eyes.
We may just watch it and compare notes, but I think the story is no different. I would have loved it if they included a little bit of a backstory to how the hermit gets poisoned, not just because of a dog. That could, but then again, as far as I'm concerned, anything could spread a pandemic these days. Even animals could spread it and cause some very big issues. How else do you explain so many COVID, obviously. Anyway, so now let's discuss reception and other stuff while we're here. So, Mike, take it away.
Take what where? Okay, so Now, here we go. I won't go straight into reception. But I did mention before, I think Eli Roth had trouble selling this. Did I say that? Or before we started?
Yeah, selling it.
He tried selling the idea to different studios because they thought the horror genre had run its course. And then I think what actually happened was that
horror is horror. You can
a movie called Scream came out. And it did so good at the box office. I think they viewed his project in a different light. So they dragged him through the door, and they gave him a chance to make his film.
Well, as I said before in the past, you're going to get horror in any form.
Everyone
likes horror.
Every generation likes horror.
Yeah. Horror
it
is
might
not
change.
Yeah. Horror may change hands and stuff like that.
No, just the types. Like the original Frankenstein and Dracula, those ones, they're pretty tame by today's standards. But
you cannot say horror is dead.
No, they're just going to change it and revamp it sometimes.
You have to change it, revamp it, put your stamp on it and say, okay, take it away.
Yeah, take it where?
Take it to the cinemas or distribute it anyway.
Just checking.
The usual stuff.
Now, I'll touch a little bit on the filming. I don't often get this information.
Right.
The filming began in late 2001.
Right.
And lasted for 24 days. I like it. A fast shoot, not dragging on for months and months and months and months and months.
How many days was it again?
24 days.
24 days, wow.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, you're not moving around. Most of it was in one location.
Yeah.
The cabin and the surrounding bush. There's no travelling. They might have had a couple of motorhomes or something or other.
Yeah. Except for when they're at the general store, but that's just a set.
Yeah, but you had you start off about 6 people and the crew. Mm-hmm. And a couple of bit down to the general store or whatever. But basically, it was this couple of people running around in the forest,
in the tall glass,
and getting less numbers as the movie goes through. Anyway,
so
now it was filmed on location, North Carolina. It was stalled after one day due to an anthrax scare.
What's an anthrax scare?
That's like a chemical problem. They used to use anthrax, I think, in the war and stuff, and it's a chemical to kill people.
Okay, go on.
Filming was shut down second time due to a union dispute. See, it happens all over, folks.
Well, we so far have a problem. We are in the middle one.
Now, here we go. Cabin scenes were filmed at Catawba Cabin, an isolated spot in Raven Knob Scout Reservation near Mount Airy, NC. It looks like North Carolina, maybe.
I'll take your word for it.
So that's for you locals, you know where it is, maybe. Blah 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 blah.
Good thing we didn't really see the cabin get burnt down. I think that would have eaten the budget.
I think that was just the visual thing, but you didn't actually see it happen. But which is good because they would have been very upset.
Yeah.
That would have really blown the budget up, eh? Now, release. Reception. Here we're down to reception. Now, this is written a bit different than the other one, so I've got to scroll through this a bit. Okay. Better than average reviews. The performances from leads were complimented by critics as solid and adequate.
Good.
Now, some crowds just didn't like the movie that much because stereotypical, monumentally irritating. But again, like I often say, if a critic doesn't like this style of movie, they're gonna bag it really badly.
It is different. Instead of a slasher killer stalking you in the woods, you're looking at a pandemic or a virus kind of killing you willy-nilly.
Yeah, and a guy here, one of the people said the film was criticised for its lack of scares, delivering more jokes and gore. There wasn't that many jokes in it. It was enough humour in it to make it light. It's not an axe murderer running around chopping people's heads off. It's a disease. What do you want? Do you want rabid people running around ripping other people's heads off? I mean, Lord.
I thought it was gory when they did the bit with the hermit's mutated remains, in the water. That was really creepy.
Here you go. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone said he finds it an unusually potent blend of dread, gore, and gallows humour. There you go.
How gory is
the blast of good, gory fun that just won't quit. Ken Newman in Empire and Maitland McDonough in TV Guide awarded Cabin Fever 3 stars out of 5. Reviewers have heard the film's homage to low-budget horror and thriller films, including Night of the Living Dead, Deliverance, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead, and its sequel, and the Blair Witch Project.
I'm right.
So had all these sort of influences in there and little hallmarks, and I wouldn't say Easter eggs, but had the same sort of general feel. So some of the guys actually liked it, but the idiots didn't like it because they didn't appreciate what Eli Roth was trying to put together.
Yeah, the part where they said there's not enough jump scares or scares.
It's a virus. Viruses don't do a jump scare. A virus does not jump out of a closet and cut your head off. I mean, what's the man want? The man's an idiot. Anyway, that's about all I got there. Now, what I'm going to say is that really quickly. Eli Roth, I know he's done some other movies. I just can't remember at the moment. He's not a bad writer. And he's not a bad director. This one here was his first go. It's a damn fine effort for a first time out.
At least it was different.
Well, yeah. Now, some of you have probably seen it, and some of you have probably even seen the other movies in the franchise. But I suggest that if you haven't seen it or haven't seen it for a long time, go and revisit it. Because really, for a first one out, for a new director, trying to sell a new story and this new storyline when the genre was supposed to be dead, this guy, I think, really opened it up for all the other people to make all the other movies.
Yeah, just so you guys
which
know,
we enjoy.
He also was best friends with David Lynch, whom I guess he met through a school.
That was the guy who did Eraserhead and Elephant Man and a couple of other movies.
So
I've got a mental block.
The man has good taste in people he worked with. You think the critics would have helped? It would have been great if David.
Yeah, well, he came on as the exec producer, but he wasn't credited. But it could have, if you have an extra person in there who's got a bit of credibility.
It would be nice.
It's good to get. It helps you get funding. Right there. Now, I'm going to give this one. I don't think there's too many problems with it. There's a couple of little quirky bits of the storyline. But basically it's okay. I'm going to give this one a 9 because it's a first job for Eli Roth, and I think he did the bloody good job for what it is.
For what he is?
Yeah, for what it is, independent job, he did really, really good. So that's why I give it a 9. Diane Baker taking one off because there's to me done a little bit of the storyline and just didn't work good for me. So, but apart from that, filming was good, the theme was good, storyline was good. The acting wasn't too bad. It hit all the right marks.
It hit all the right marks, and I know some people hate it with stereotype stuff, but I thought it's
going to happen.
You're going to have this sort of thing in any movie out there. While some of them make fun of the genre of that type of sort of things in Cabin in the Woods type stuff, but I think it adds a little bit of flavor and a little bit of variety.
Exactly. But it's a different take on it. I mean, it's like, if you can do a Dracula movie, a vampire movie, I want to drink your blood, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. How many different ways can you take the story? Jonathan Harker was in it, and Mina was in it, and Dracula was in it, and he came from Transylvania to London, yada, yada, yada. How many changes can you do to the story? You can't do too many. You can do a few little tweaks, but still the same basic story. But all the remakes have been pretty damn good, especially the one with Gary Oldman in it. That was
smash.
That was a fantastic movie. Winona Ryder, Gary Oldman, all the other people like Keanu Reeves, other people. It had all these great actors, and it was a great film. So it was the same bloody story which has been going on for years and years and years. So don't say you can't take an old story and revamp it. Revamp it and make something new out of it.
Such movies like this which I'm not sure when Cabin in the Woods came out, whether it came after this one or before it. I think that you can never have too many kind of cabin or related movies out there. If you can get away with such a story, or because bear in mind, it's in the middle of nowhere,
and that makes it scarier.
Which makes it so
you
scarier.
Can't say, oh, there's someone breaking in my house. I'll run next door to the neighbours.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll pop down the road and I'll get on the telephone and call the police. No, there ain't no phone. The mobiles aren't working. There ain't no neighbours for about 20 miles or whatever.
Yeah,
by
a disadvantage is there, guys, which adds to the flavor.
And it builds up. So you are totally exposed, and that actually makes it scary.
The heroes themselves think there's no harm in being in the woods, no phones, because they think, oh, we're getting back to nature, or
we're off the grid. Well, really, too far off the grid for my liking.
Yeah, I would not like it.
They didn't even have a carrier pigeon to take a bloody message out.
If I was going on holiday anywhere, I wouldn't go into a cabin in the woods, where in the middle of nowhere. I would go to a beach resort in a hotel or an apartment, and
with lots of people
around me, obviously,
and a restaurant downstairs, so we have dinner. Yep.
And a staircase with no fire exit.
No, an elevator as well.
Yeah, last time we were stuck in the elevators were not working in a sort of a resort, and we were stuck on the floor.
An elevator,
there was only one set of stairs, which was fire exit stairs.
And we were on the 20th floor. It would have been a bit of a walk down,
Yeah, you can imagine.
It was, if there was a fire on, I would have made it down pretty quick. Anyway, here we go. So we've done the ratings. Now, for sale through eBay, there's some, yes, and Amazon has it for sale and for rent. Not a lot of postings there, but it is available. Now, note here, it goes back to 2002. There will be some VHS copies floating around if you're looking around. So if you don't go to eBay and Amazon and looking somewhere else for another supplier or whatever, yes, be careful. There are still VHS copies out there. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
Might be second hand, but just make sure you don't get one of those unless you really want one.
Yeah. Be sure to remember, guys, as Mike says here, to be sure you get the right one. If you want to get the original that was done by your worshipness, you're going, and if you get the wrong one and you feel dissatisfied with that one, then you may have to look up the date for this one.
Now, Cabin Fever 2002, because the next movie was Cabin Fever, whatever it's called. 2. Well, no, it might have had another name after it. But I know. Cabin Fever 2 was done 2004, so it was close. And the other one might have been done 2006, and it was a 10-year jump in 2016 for the remake of the first movie. Uh-huh. So 2002, Cabin Fever, Eli Roth, main star, Ryder Strong, Gordon Ladd. If you use those as hallmarks, been looking for it, you shouldn't go wrong, okay? Mm-hmm.
I bet he enjoyed playing a corpse in that movie.
Who?
I bet Eli was enjoying being a corpse in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe not a corpse. Maybe they made a prop.
No, he could have been lying down the ground.
Prop of his.
No, it's easier to lay down there, put some gunk on his face, and do a close up of his face in the dark. There you go. It's Eli. He's laying down the job.
I bet that would be enjoyable fun.
But, I like the science. I mean, it had a nice cave. They did that filming in. And with the other guys having his beers.
Yeah, it's interesting in that one. He had two sets of 6-packs with him in that.
He took 2 6-packs with his 12 beers, and I wouldn't have batted an eyelid of 12 beers. Not American beers. I'm not taking.
Mike hates American beers.
No, I didn't say. I mean, our beer is stronger in Australia. I can't remember what the ratings are in America and ours at the moment. I haven't been drinking beer much. I drink spirits now, but our beer is a lot stronger. A lot of Americans come over here and have a few of our beers, and they get drunk almost straight away because they're used to drinking their stuff, which is a lot of beer.
Uh-huh.
And our stuff is just, I think, double the strength or something or other. Have a couple of beers off their faces. You'll be very careful coming to Australia.
Yeah.
It's a good place to come for a holiday. Be careful of the beer.
Yeah.
It'll bite you in the bum. Yeah.
Oh, yes. You heard the expression.
Yeah.
The hair that bit you.
And the hair that beat you?
bit you. But
the hair of the dog will bite you before you even get before the next morning. There's actually one beer I was drinking. I got a hangover while I was actually drinking it. And that was pretty, that was a good one.
Anyway, so you know where to find it. You know the reception of this movie. So, and you know exactly which one to get.
Yeah, Cabin Fever 2002, not the 2016. Hello?
Yes, and remember the name of the director, which will add to help you on the way. So that's our review, and I'll be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments what you guys think of Cabin in the Woods. I mean, not Cabin in the Woods. I mean, Cabin Fever.
Cabin in the Woods is the other one.
I knew.
With the scientists and stuff and the evil
of
guys.
The tongue. I didn't mean it. So, anyway, so you know where to find it, and you know it's called Cabin Fever.
Cabin
Fever. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around, and see you guys for our next episode later on. All right, that's all from us. So see you guys around. Bye.
Bye, guys.